Hi friends, I know you are interested in what's inside those boxes. We've got some Eagle logos on both. One is gray, one is red, and it says Sram NX, Sram GX. It is Monday today, which means that last Saturday, 2 days ago, I took part in the great event called Ultra Marathon New Borders of the town I'm living in. And me and my cousin, we started as a team relay. And I'm just editing right now the video, so it's gonna be ready for tomorrow night. And now we're gonna compare two drivetrains. We've got here 2 of 4 available 1x12 MTB drivetrains from Sram. The main question here is, would I pay those additional $150 roughly in order to have what's inside the red box instead of this one in gray? So come closer, I'm gonna show you both. Here we have those two, NX, GX. We're gonna start with the GX because GX is closer, more similar technology-wise to XX1 and X01. This is the original box, so it's not the so-called OEM. When you buy a group set, you should get it in such a nice box, and you're gonna see what's inside. This is really nice. We've got 3 shelves here. We can open it like this. On each shelf there are some nice components. The first one, that's the crankset and the chain, and here inside this plastic clear box we've got also so-called Eagle power lock, which is the quick link for the Eagle chain. So that's the one here. Then we have another shelf with derailleur, the shifter and the left crank arm, and of course special adjusting tool like indicator which shows whether we have the right amount of distance between the upper pulley of the derailleur and the cassette. And finally is the cassette. That's right here. It is huge. This is Eagle. This is 10 to 50 and it's XG1275. It's different from NX, but what's most interesting for us here is the comparison. So let's see the NX and let's compare the parts. Here's the NX. Start with one. Here's what's inside the box. And we're gonna open it up. Same nice and fancy box. Here on the first shelf we've got the left crank arm, chain with the power link and the shifter, and then on the middle one there is the derailleur, the adjustment tool for the RD and the right crank arm, and finally there is the cassette, which is so much different from all the other Eagle cassettes, which is GX, X01 and XX1. Let's see the head-to-head comparison, and would I buy GX or NX? I'm gonna save the cassettes for the end because that's where the most differences lie, in my opinion, and these are very crucial for the buyer. So these are cranksets, and surprisingly, the NX I have is in the DAB standard. This is the BSA standard, but NX will have the left crank arm integrated with the spindle, and on the GX is the right one. I'm not sure whether it's only for the DAB system, maybe, but I'm not sure about that. Otherwise, of course, the GX crankset will be a little bit lighter than the NX. The difference in the whole group set in terms of the grams is about 200 grams for the GX being lighter, and 500 grams for XX1 being lighter than the NX. So NX versus GX, 200 grams difference on a whole group set, and XX1 versus NX, 500 grams. That's the difference. You can see that there is less material here. This is the GX, this is the NX. GX also is like more robust or thicker here. The NX is thinner. But what's very important for us is the Eagle technology, which lies a lot in these teeth cutting, and these are same exact shapes. So do not expect GX to shift differently. These are same teeth, same system. I couldn't find any differences I could tell you about. So NX and GX should be shifting in the same way or a very similar way. The differences may also lie in the stiffness of the crankset. This one might be stiffer, but since we have so much material here, those would be just stiff enough. The rear derailleurs, we want to have nice, cool derailleurs on our bikes, GX, NX. I mean, the differences are there, but I'm happy that Sram engineers didn't save some Eagle technologies for GX only and not give it to the cheapest NX. We've got all the systems that are crucial, which is very nice Eagle technology pulleys. This is the tension pulley, and it's in narrow wide system, as you can see. Narrow, wide, same on the GX, narrow, wide. So they hold on to the chain nicely. The upper one is not in the narrow wide system, but they also look similar, if not the same, for GX and NX. What can be different is maybe the bearings of those pulleys, but if not the bearings, that would be the plates that are sealing or making those pulleys more water resistant or mud resistant. And you can also see that the plate on the GX covers up almost half of the pulley, which is different on the NX here. I can also see that the silver plate here is different than the black one here on the pulley on the GX. So GX might be more robust or more solid for mud riding in the rain and so on. So that might be the difference, something that's good to know. The clutch is the same. This is the Type 3 roller bearing clutch. It says here the same thing. The locking system for removing the rear wheel remains also the same for both. So you have this one nice button which you push, and you can lock the derailleur in such a position. Otherwise it would look like this, right? When they are unlocked, they look like this. The guides for the cables, same exact shaping. This little wheel for guiding the cable is also the same on the GX and NX, and that's where SRAM rear derailleurs are superior to Shimano's. That's my opinion. This works very well, and even if there is some mud or anything, you're not gonna feel it, because it works very nicely, smoothly, and the cable goes through this wheel to this little arm and then to the mounting bolt. These are great. Of course, GX will be lighter, a bit lighter than the NX, but the shifting performance, the feel should be super similar on both. The shifters, GX, NX, as you can see, NX will have smaller Eagle logo. I'm going to tell you why in a second. So let's look at those two. Very similar, interesting thing. The lightest Eagle shifter is the NX shifter. There is no difference in how they click. So I think that the shifting mechanism inside is the same for maybe even all 4 group sets. But you can see that here you have a big cover which you have to remove for replacing the cable, and here we have a nice little rubber cover, and then you can even see the mechanism, but you can see the cable here. So the cable change replacement on the NX will be faster than on the GX, but on the other side, when you look at this cover, you will notice that the NX will be once again less water resistance or mud resistance than the GX. GX with this cover here will be better for riding in lots of mud. That's what I think. Otherwise, the length, the shape of those levers feels pretty much the same. It is very close to each other. I think this one is even the same one. And then the shifting up the cassette has a little bit different shaping, but still very similar. You can choose between different shifters like NX shifter, XX1 cassette. It is all cross-compatible, which is great. So no other differences I would notice. We've got the bar adjusters and the cable feels the same. So I don't think there is some additional coating on the GX. The cable should be the same. NX and GX don't have additional adjustment that the XX1 and X01 shifters have. The most important difference between GX and NX are the cassettes, and here is why. This is the GX Eagle Technology 500 range, which means we have one piece, GX still one piece of a cassette being assembled to the XD hub body, 12 gears, 10 through 50 teeth, and here we have also 12 gears, but 11 through 50, which will be mounted on the standard Shimano freehub body. What it means? It means, guys, that if you want to upgrade your bikes, you are riding now Diori stuff, or you are riding, which is great, or you are riding, let's say, Novatec rear hub for the Shimano cassette you've been using so far, 11 speed, 10 speed cassette, you can use 12 speed NX Eagle without any changes of the freehub body, because the NX cassette is Shimano freehub body compatible. That's super important. Now, is it disadvantage that you've got here only 1150, not 1050? In my opinion, not really, because I've been thinking, how often have I been using on my Nini last year this 10 teeth sprocket, and I would say on the cross-country races, never. On the MTB marathons, never. On the trainings, sometimes, and on some longer rides, sometimes. Which means it is not that important to have that 10 teeth. 50 teeth, yes, for one bike drivetrain. 50 teeth if you want to use 34 chain set at the front, 36. It's great to have 50 teeth. So here you have the 50 teeth lowest gear, but this one is 11, and that's cool. It says 11 speed and 12 speed freehub body compatible. And so, my friends, would I spend that approximately $140 more for the GX than the NX? My answer is no, I wouldn't, because on this level you are not focusing on racing, you're focusing on having fun, having solid drivetrain, having good performance, shifting performance on your enduro bike, trail bike, cross-country bike, marathon, mountain bike, and so for me 200 grams difference between GX and NX is like nothing on that level. There is half a kilo difference between NX and XX1, but then XX1 is almost triple the price of the NX Eagle. And besides that, on the NX, SRAM have given us all the crucial Eagle technologies. They didn't take out any of those technologies. So you have 12 speed, you've got those teeth on the cassette and on the chainring on your chain set are same. This is Eagle technology. You've got the derailleur with the nice Type 3 roller bearing clutch. Those pulleys are same looking and larger, oversized. The shifter shifts very well. The only thing you haven't is the 10 teeth smallest sprocket on the cassette. You've got 11, which is better for me, because I am still lover of 2x drivetrains, because there is too many gaps between the the gears on 1x12. That's my opinion. But if there was a 12-speed cassette, which would start from, let's say, 14 teeth up to 50 teeth with 12 speed, that would give me, I think, nice steps between those gears. Another episode about that. Otherwise, this cassette, NX cassette, will be Shimano Freehub compatible, which is great. And all the NX parts will be GX, X01 and XX1 parts compatible, which is great. If you have any further questions, put those in the comments. But my answer is no, on this level I wouldn't spend that $140 more. I would rather spend it for, because you know, when you're buying it for the NX drivetrain for your bike, it's not like many thousands of dollars bike. So I would spend it for the carbon seat post or a dropper seat post or nice tires with the tubeless system. So there is many nice ideas for spending $140–50 on a bike, which will be about, let's say, maybe $1,000 up to $2,000 worth. So NX is great, and I will be pushing NX to the limits this year, doing many kilometers on my Big 9 hardtail. So let's see how it goes. That's it for this episode, and now I'm gonna edit this video and then go and finish editing that Saturday's race, which was amazing. See you guys. Comments here below. Bye bye.